Alright, hey guys and gals, been wanting to make some more of these videos for a little while now, talking about it. Oh, hurricanes, boats, work, life, just haven't had much time to get around to it, but when it rains, I found some time. So I thought I'd start off with something easy, and what started off my passion for fishing probably these lures. Well, man's jelly worm is probably the first worm I threw, but freshwater guys, zoom trick worm. I've probably caught more fish on this than any other bait at all, with the only close second would be the Cinco. I had two favorite colors, June bug and the watermelon red. Now, what I wanted to talk about was the rigging. Now, everybody likes to rig wacky, either with or without an O-ring, with or without a weed guard. You can't beat the presentation. I'll give it that. But around here, there's so much grass. When you're trying to come through the grass and stuff like that, there's just more stuff for it to hang up on, and you end up pulling a wad of crap in when you don't. So seldom ever do I rig mine wacky. I do go the traditional route with a wide gap hook. It's Texas rigged. Skin hook that point back, makes it completely weedless. This is like when you have grass cover going through stuff, whether you're fishing it with a bullet weight ahead of it or not. This is just going to be a whole lot more weedless and snagless than the wacky rig is. So that's why I like to rig it that way, preferably. Now you got to be different. So a long time ago, started using the live bait hooks. You got the barbs on the shank. Can still rig it through the head. Up onto the shank. This is #1 for catching those short strikes when the bait's first falling down and they're hitting it and just mouthing it. When they bite, they're going to be hooking themselves. So when you've got it Texas rigged, you're feeling that strike, you're setting the hook, and you're just a little bit too late. They're already going to be hooked up with this. So as far as catching numbers, this is going to be the rig you want to use. Now a lot of times I'm throwing this weightless, especially with the Cinco. If I'm using a weight at all, it's usually I'm using the same hook for my drop shot rigs. Just want to rig that on there. You're keeping the flat side of the worm where it's going to be down. That's going to create your action and help with your buoyancy. But when you have that rigged on a drop shot rig, it's really going to give you better hook sets, like again those lighter strikes and stuff like that. And if you get into those heavy pressure areas, you can even drop this down more. Let's see, this is like a 1/0. You can drop this down to like a 2/4. Same style hook. Rig that on there and do it like that. You can also rig make it even more weedless, or after this end gets chewed up from sliding up the line, hook sets, etc. Flip it around, take the tail end, whether you're rigging a Texas rig or using this live bait hook, rig it on there like that, and that is a whole lot more weedless. And with the tail out on the end, when you're fishing this weightless, you're going to get longer cast. It's going to distribute your weight out longer, and also when you're wacky rig, there's thunder. See if the lightning comes in. When you're wacky rigged, when you're making those casts, again, you're not as aerodynamic flying through. So, two disadvantages to the wacky rig. Like I said, I'm using the smaller hook for my drop shot rigs and stuff like that. Talking about the baits getting tore up. I keep all of my baits in the bag. I keep them loaded with scent. I let them marinate, and a lot of times when they get broken and stuff, I'll take the pieces and put in another bag, and I save those for my crappie and my bluegill rigs. So say this one gets broke off, you've got this on a small hook. Clip the tail if you want to, give a little bit more action. It makes an excellent hook for really high pressure fish, and I love it on a drop shot rig down foot and a half leader below it to the weight. For my bluegill, throw it up around beds, bluegill beds, bass beds, tilapia beds, any kind of beds you see. Anytime something like this is floating around in there, it's going to stay in that zone a lot longer, and it's really good on a rig for when highly pressured fish. If you're like, I'd say stream fishing or fishing the rivers here and just drifting with the current, when the bass are down there in that grass and just waiting for something to come over, it's almost all hook. So even if they just strike it out of mistake or reaction, you're going to hook up with them. And then you've got this is a hook I like to use. I use this a lot saltwater stuff fishing too, when I'm fishing flukes and sea shads and stuff like that. Been moving baits. But throw this hook on 30 to 65 pound braid, and it's got the screw tip on it. Just gonna screw it in. That one's been screwed a few times. Screw that tip on there. Rig it up weedless. Now, this is all going to be completely weedless. Got a little bit of weight. Give it that nice little drop. This is going to be your follow-up bait when you're frog fishing, buzzbait fishing, and you get those blow-ups, but you don't get the fish. So, as soon as that fish blows up on your frog, it goes out of the way. You have this on another rod pre-rigged, preferably bait caster, so you can really sit into them. And you're going to toss this back into that hole with a little bit of weight. If you happen to land on a lily pad or something, you can wiggle it around. It's going to fall in there. That bass down there is going to think that it wounded whatever it was going after. It's coming down. 9 times out of 10, you're going to get that fish with this rig. So that's just a few of the ways to rig my favorite baits. As I said, I mentioned it or not, but my favorite colors: June bug and watermelon red. So, y'all have a great day. I don't think it's going to let up anytime soon here. Maybe I'll get another one knocked out. Like, share, follow. Appreciate them all. Talk to y'all later.